WHDH TV, Boston. This is News 7, New England.
Good evening. As you saw, there is a rain delay in Chicago at the All-Star Game. We're going to present our local news and then return to the game later. So, topping this late edition of News 7, less than 2 months until the start of the new school year, and the Boston School Committee's search for a new superintendent is stalled. Target date now, January 1991.
Another bit of unfinished committee business, a budget, one that the mayor will accept. News 7's Byron Barnett has more on the school committee's struggle to get its work done.
Nearly 4 months after the departure of Superintendent LaValle Wilson and less than 8 weeks before the start of the new school year, the Boston School Committee tonight was still working out the details of its 29-member superintendent search committee. At this point, no one has applied for the job, and the school committee has not advertised the position, leaving parents and other observers to wonder if the school year will begin without an administrative chief.
I don't think at this point in time that we're being very fair to the children. I don't think that right now Boston is an attractive picture for anyone who might want to think about being the superintendent.
And in other business tonight, the school committee ended its budget stalemate and agreed to eliminate 106 teaching positions, but in a sort of musical chairs fashion. Many of those affected will be retrained to fill other vacancies in the school system. But school officials say some non-tenured teachers will lose their jobs, and possibly even some tenured teachers will be cut as well. R.D.?
Byron, what's the next step in the search for a new superintendent?
Well, R.D., school officials say they expect to begin advertising for this job by the end of the summer. In the meantime, the search committee looking for a school superintendent has been divided into subcommittees, and school officials are still trying to define the roles of those subcommittees. And in fact, one of the subcommittees, the committee looking for a consultant to find a school superintendent, has no members because no one's volunteered.
Thank you. Byron Barnett reporting from the newsroom tonight. Margie?
Hundreds of people came out tonight in Lexington to tell Continental Airlines to keep its proposed shuttle service. The crowd was overwhelmingly against having Continental Express start up a commuter service between Hanscom Field in Bedford and Newark, New Jersey. Traffic at Hanscom is now basically made up of general aviation and corporate flights, with some use by the military. Continental wants to add 12 flights a day with twin turboprops. Residents from 6 surrounding communities showed up tonight to protest.
When we know so much about the bad effects of noise, when we know so much about the bad effects of traffic on people, it's wrong to introduce this into this airport at this particular time.
In Houston, at the Economic Summit, Western leaders are still looking for common ground on some key issues. All agree the Soviet Union needs economic aid, but they've fallen short on a coordinated effort. And with the summit due to end tomorrow, talks are continuing. A compromise on a major trade issue has apparently fallen through. The summit participants also agreed to ease restrictions on aid to China, but said closer cooperation depends on improvements in human rights. Still on the agenda, still disagreements over global warming. Margie?
And back at home, long-awaited local aid payments are finally beginning to flow to cities and towns. The first check sent today. At the State House, the governor produced lots of smiles when he told his advisory committee of local officials that all the money the state owes them will be paid by July 18th.
None of our cities or towns had to default. Some got prepayments. Some are getting slightly more in the payment today, and it's only because you and your people have worked with us on that. We appreciate it.
In hard-hit communities such as Weymouth, where cutbacks in the fire department and schools are a legacy of the local aid delay, officials say it's too soon to jump for joy.
The financial prospects for the town of Weymouth don't look all that bright for the next fiscal year either, and so we have some difficult times ahead for local officials and for town employees and for the citizens in the town who expect services.
Overall, the state owed city and towns more than $1 billion. It paid $880 million today and still owes another $340 million.
Still ahead on News 7 this evening, jazz singer Ella Fitzgerald is in the hospital and her European tour has been canceled.
The controversial rap group Two Live Crew gets wrapped in Boston. We'll have the latest on the band's attempts to perform in the Bay State.
And the groundskeepers are working on Wrigley Field after the heavy rain. We'll be going back to the All-Star Game when the action resumes. But more News 7 still ahead.
Well, we certainly know what the weather is in Chicago. Raining cats and dogs. But, okay, we do have Harvey Leonard, and he can tell us what's coming here.
I certainly can. Thank goodness for that. First of all, let's update you on what's going on in Chicago. The rain has diminished quite a bit in intensity. I just checked the radar out there. There still is some intermittent rain that has to pass through the area, but it looks like the heaviest band has moved through. So the conditions may not be ideal, but I think there's a good chance they will still get the game in after you're done watching us. Okay, let's first of all tell you that our comfort scale tonight, much, much better. Last night at this time, the dew point was 75, just about off our scale. Tonight, it's all the way down to 51. So even though it's still mild out, it is obviously far more comfortable. A beautiful evening indeed. Clear skies, very dry conditions. The clouds aren't that far away, though. They're to our south and to our west. Beach and boating tomorrow will be a good day with a northwest wind around to onshore in the afternoon. Excellent visibility, high tide early afternoon, 75 to 80 for air temperature, 60s in the water. Brightest part of tomorrow will be the first half of the day. Keep that in mind. And also the brightest sunshine will be from Boston north during that time period. Rain is on the way for Thursday, though. A quick look at the forecast will show that. Tonight, our skies mainly clear. Temperatures late tonight, upper 60s Boston, upper 50s suburbs. A nice one tomorrow, sunny, but high clouds will eventually take over, especially late in the day, 77 to 83. The clouds thicken tomorrow night, temperature 60 to 65. Look for wet and cool weather Thursday. Heaviest rain, Boston south. Temperatures in the 60s, the indications to me that the damp weather will be lingering more or less cloudy and cool once it does arrive, but a fairly nice day before the change. All right?
Okay, we know what's coming.
Okay.
Thanks.
Only one major sports story tonight. That's the All-Star game in Chicago. After the rain delay, they're about to resume play. We'll go back to Wrigley Field. Good night.
Good night.